So moving on to the next topic. So now we are going to deal with derivatives of implicit functions. So ivlo nero we were looking at composite functions, correct? Function kulla function. Now we are going to look at derivatives of implicit functions. Okay, so abdina enna artham? So until now you are dealing with only one single variable. So for example, if your f of x is simply sin x, you'll have df divided by dx to be cos x, because what is your variable of differentiation? Variable of differentiation is x, and what variable do you have in your function? Ange x da irukku. So adnala your derivative was very easy to find. Now what if your f of y is equal to sin y and you need to differentiate this with respect to x? Appo enna agum? df divided by dx is equal to, you're first going to differentiate sin. Sin oda derivative enna? Cos of y times d by dx of, what is the variable that you have? You have y. So either further differentiate panna mudiyuma. When you differentiate x with respect to x, you will have 1. But when you differentiate some other variable with respect to x, you will have dy by dx. Idhukku mele idha further simplify panna mudiyadhu, because your variable is very different from x. Y is different from x, correct? So anyway we are going to deal with such functions. So for example, if your f of y is going to be 2y square, appo nammaloda differentiation enna varukudhu? df divided by dx. Your variable of differentiation is always x. So this is going to be normal differentiation panano. So you have 2y square, so the 2 comes down. So 2 times 2 into y oda power enna agum? 2 minus 1 agum. But here you have y and not x. So enga enna agapodhu? dy divided by dx. Okay, so this basic concept you need to understand. So wherever you have y, you have to differentiate that with respect to x. Apdi differentiate panna mudilana adu apdiye ezhudira vendida. So this is how you write that. Okay, dy by dx எப்பவுமே வரணும் whenever your variable is dependent on y and not x, and when you are differentiating it with respect to x. புரிஞ்சுதா? இப்போ now let's get into some example questions. So example 24, I need to find dy by dx if x minus y is equal to pi. இப்போ function என்ன? x minus y is equal to pi. I need to find my dy by dx. So in the entire term நான் d by dx ஓட differentiate பண்ண போறேன். So I'm going to have, what will be my next step? d by dx of x minus y is equal to d by dx of pi. So rendu side I'm going to differentiate. Now what am I going to have? I'm going to split d by dx of x minus d by dx of y is equal to d by dx of some constant. d by dx of any constant is going to give me a 0. Correct? Constant or the derivative is a 0. So in the side I'm going to have 0. So what will I have here? d by dx of x. I'm differentiating x with respect to x. I'm going to have 1. d by dx of x is going to be 1 minus either further panna mudiyuma. So I'm going to have dy by dx equal to 0. So when I take dy by dx to the other side, I'll have dy by dx is equal to 1. So this is what you need to find out. Okay, it is very easy. dy by dx na kekranga. So in the question you need dy by dx, and I found out that. Okay, please copy. You will understand this more when you are solving more questions. Engalla y irukko angalla dy by dx ponum. Avladha, nothing more. Okay, please copy. Now example 25, dy by dx, find dy by dx if y plus sin y is equal to cos x. So adhe step dhaan panna porom. So I'm having y plus sin y equals cos x. So I'm going to differentiate both sides by d by dx. Correct? So d by dx of LHS, d by dx of RHS. So in the இடத்துல இப்ப split பண்ணா என்னாகும்? d by dx of y plus d by dx of sin y is equal to d by dx of cos x. And here the variable is x. So when you simply differentiate, I'll write this step also. So d by dx of cos x. இப்போ next step la enna agapodhu? Here the variable is y. So I cannot further differentiate it. So I have dy by dx plus in the இடத்துல d by dx of sin y. What is the derivative of sin? It is going to be cos. So I'll have cos y times d by dx of y. Correct? In the y marandradakudadu. You have to differentiate the function that is inside sin also. This is equal to d by dx of cos x, and it is going to be minus sin x, and the derivative of x is going to be with respect to x 1. So adha nama eludha podhu kedaiyadhu. Okay, now I have dy by dx plus cos y. Idha further panna mudiyuma? Panna mudiyadhu. So dy by dx is equal to minus sin x. So in my LHS I'm going to take my dy by dx to be common. So common edutha enna agum? dy by dx times 1 plus cos y. So that is remaining equals minus sin x. If leaving dy by dx on one side, I'm going to take the rest to the other side. So I have minus sin x divided by 1 plus cos y. So this is my final answer. They are asking for dy by dx. So this is my final answer. இதுக்கு மேல further simplify பண்ண முடியாது. Okay? Please copy. Example 26. இப்போ இந்த இடத்துல we are dealing with inverse function. So இந்த மாதிரி கேசஸ்ல நம்ம என்ன பண்ண போறோம்? Find the derivative of the given function f of x is equal to sin inverse x. So I am going to rename this as y is equal to sin inverse of x. When I take sin on both sides, I'll have sin y is equal to x. Correct? So I have x is equal to sin y. Now I'm going to differentiate it on both sides with respect to x. So d by dx of sin y equals d by dx of x. So what happens to my left hand side? I'll have cos y times dy by dx. Correct? d by dx of y is going to be dy by dx equals d by dx of x and it is going to be simply 1. So what is my dy by dx now? dy by dx is equal to 1 divided by cos y. But what is my y according to the question? In the y enna kuduthirukku sin inverse of x. So you have to write that. So I have 1 divided by cos of sin inverse of x. But denominator la the value cannot be 0. So what is your function going to be? Cos of y should not be equal to 0, which means y should not be equal to minus pi by 2 or pi by 2. It should not be equal to that. Abdina enna artham? Sin inverse of x should not be equal to minus pi by 2 or pi by 2, which means my x value should not be equal to 1 or minus 1. X should not be equal to minus 1 and 1. Correct? Sin enga varudhu? Here it is sin 0 is going to be 0. Sin pi by 2 is 1. Sin pi is equal to 0. Sin of minus pi by 2 is again going to be minus 1. So minus pi by 2 minus 1 plus pi by 2 it is going to be simply 1. So x value should not be equal to minus 1. So what is your range going to be? X belongs to minus 1 to 1. Square bracket pota, it includes minus 1 and 1. But here it should not be equal to minus 1 and 1. So what is my range? X belongs to minus 1 to 1 inside curved brackets. Correct? Not square brackets. So vera mari eppadi ezhudalam? My denominator is cos y. So cos y can also be written as square root of 1 minus sin square y. Do you agree? Now, what is my sin y? In the step la enna theriyudhu? In the step la I have sin y is equal to x. Appo sin square y enna agapodhu? It is going to be square root of 1 minus x square. Correct? So you can write your final answer in terms of x also. So idu eppadi ezhudalam? dy by dx is equal to 1 by cos y, which is going to be 1 divided by square root of 1 minus sin square y, which is equal to 1 divided by square root of 1 minus x square. So your final answer can also be written like this. So dy by dx is equal to 1 divided by square root of 1 minus x square. Okay, so this is my final answer. Okay, you can write it however you want. So ingiyume x oda value should not be equal to minus 1 and 1. You see that? So even here the value of x should not be equal to 1 and minus 1 for this particular case. Okay, so this is your answer. This is your answer and this can also be your answer. There are two different answers which are almost the same. Just the way of representing it is different. Correct? Okay. Now copy. Moving on to example 27. Find the derivative of f given f of x is equal to tan inverse of x. So iduvume adhe mari panna porom. So I am going to have y is equal to tan inverse of x, which means x is equal to tan y. Now differentiating on both sides with respect to x, I am going to have d by dx of x is equal to d by dx of tan y. So this is going to be 1 equal to tan order derivative is secant square y dy by dx. Don't forget that your variable is y and you're differentiating it with respect to x. So இந்த இடத்துல என்ன இருக்கு? dy by dx is equal to 1 divided by secant square y. But what do you see here? Your x value is a tan y. Correct? அப்ப tan secant tan எப்படி எழுதலாம்? I know that 1 plus tan square y is equal to secant square y. So I can rewrite my answer as 1 divided by 1 plus tan square y, and I know that tan y is x. So I have 1 divided by 1 plus x square. So what is my final answer? dy by dx is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus x square. Okay, it is very, very simple. Final answer, maximum try to write it in terms of x. Okay, please copy. So with this we are done with example questions. Moving